Good YouTube, it's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV back at y'all with another one. So, Josh Taylor, undefeated, now undisputed, junior welterweight world champion, superstar, British boxer. Josh Taylor dominated Jose Ramirez tonight. He dropped him in the 6th round badly. He dropped him in the 7th round badly. And in my opinion, he was the quicker, better, pure boxer all the way tonight. We had Jose Ramirez putting pressure on Josh Taylor as he is. He's a champion. He's a unified champion, okay? He don't know how to lose. So he was putting pressure. But he didn't know how to deal with the body work, the quick hand speed of Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was putting combinations together beautiful. He was countering Jose Ramirez all night beautifully. You know, his left hand, Josh Taylor was landing the left hand at will. He was setting up his punches. He was using angles all night long, in my opinion, okay? And he kept landing a right uppercut and a straight left. Jose Ramirez had no answer for Josh Taylor. He had no answer. You can tell from the very beginning, he was very, very uncomfortable with the athletic ability of Josh Taylor. He was very, very uncomfortable with the hand speed of Josh Taylor. It made for a beautiful outing. Josh Taylor was fighting him mid-range. He was fighting him on the outside. He was popping Jose Ramirez with his jab. He was fighting him on the inside. He was better at every level in this fight against Jose Ramirez. Now, obviously, Josh Taylor, he's looking for undisputed, to the last two undisputed junior welterweight showdown between himself and undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. With that said, Josh Taylor, you know, is a southpaw. Terence Crawford is versatile. He can switch from southpaw to orthodox fluidly, very, very fluidly, okay? We saw, though, when he was in the orthodox stance against Kell Brook in his last fight, Kell Brook being the former IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Kell Brook's jab was giving Terence Crawford tons and tons of problems, okay? Josh Taylor is very tall, very rangy. He's 5'10", with a 71-inch arm reach, okay? But ultimately, he knows how to use his arm reach. He has power. He's shown to have power in both hands, in the right hand and in the left hand, okay? He's shown that, you know, he can dominate, you know, on different levels, whether that be mid-range, whether that be on the outside, whether that be on the inside. He's shown to have a pretty sturdy chin. He's shown to be able to deal with adversity, weather the storm, and pull through it. He will have to do so against Terence Crawford, okay? Because Terence Crawford is just as athletic, is more athletic than Josh Taylor. Their hand speed, I believe, is about the same, but I believe Terence Crawford has more power in both hands than Josh Taylor does, okay? The thing is, Josh Taylor is not a switch fighter. Terence Crawford, like I said, can switch from orthodox to southpaw. When Kell Brook's jab was giving Terence Crawford trouble, Terence Crawford switched from orthodox to southpaw, and ultimately, you know, he started to dominate Kell Brook, and then he ultimately stopped Kell Brook. Okay, so he's shown that, you know, Terence Crawford, obviously, that he can make adjustments in the fight. Now, we know legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, he stated that Terence Crawford is waiting to the fall, waiting for the winner of this fight. Terence Crawford, initially, his team stated that they wanted to fight Jose Ramirez. But it looks more like it's going to be Josh Taylor, okay? So I don't know if Terence Crawford is willing to give Josh Taylor the opportunity. But Bob Arum did say he was waiting for the winner of this fight. I know his team, they highlighted Jose Ramirez, but unfortunately Jose Ramirez is not the guy, it's Josh Taylor. So this is going to make for a big fight for Terence Crawford. I believe that Josh Taylor will be the best opponent Terence Crawford has ever faced in his career. I believe that that's the best opponent Terence Crawford has ever faced in his career. I believe that, you know, this is going to, you know, be a high-profile, high-quality fight for Terence Crawford. You know, Terence Crawford, he stated that, you know, he's been trying to secure a high-profile fight and a high-profile fighter a legacy fight. This is a legacy fight because Josh Taylor is undefeated. Josh Taylor is now undisputed. He is the first undisputed first four belt holder in the United Kingdom. So it's historic, okay, for Josh Taylor. And this is the first time since Terence Crawford, that we had an undisputed junior welterweight. And Josh Taylor's road to undisputed may have been more difficult than Terence Crawford's because Jose Ramirez, Regis Prograis, and then winning the Muhammad Ali tournament, that is a better resume than that of the resume that Terence Crawford went through, seeing as though Josh Taylor did beat Victor Postol as well. But now Victor Postol, he definitely wasn't the same guy that Terence Crawford fought. Terence Crawford fought the Victor Postol that was considered to be the boogeyman in the junior welterweight division. That's the version of Victor Postol that Terence Crawford faced. And Terence Crawford dropped Victor Postol. He dominated Victor Postol. And people were saying that Terence Crawford was avoiding Victor Postol. But he's shown that, he absolutely wasn't avoiding Victor Postol. He dominated Victor Postol and won the fight. Now, we know Terence Crawford had been trying to secure a big, huge legacy fight against, 8-division world champion, legendary, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. But that is not going to come to fruition, as Manny Pacquiao has agreed to fight Terence Crawford's rival, which is the other half of the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, an undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Errol the Truth Spence Jr. With that said, Terence Crawford is seen. So, with that said, Terence Crawford, has turned his sights, set his sights on another massive showdown. Since those, we know the history between him and Errol Spence. Errol Spence stated that he wanted to have, a 60-40 split, seeing as though he's been doing the bigger numbers. He's been doing fighting the better opposition. He's doing the bigger pay-per-view numbers. So they hit a roadblock. As Terence Crawford said, it needs to be 50-50 or 60-40 in his favor. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen. Errol Spence wasn't going to budge. Terence Crawford wasn't going to budge. And then Terence Crawford started to say that fight was in his rearview mirror. So a shocker that came out of nowhere is that Manny Pacquiao has agreed to fight Errol Spence Jr., okay? That came out of nowhere. Not too many people saw that coming. So August 21st, you're going to get Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. So the next best option for Terence Crawford should have been 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter. But, he decided to put Sean Porter on the back burner. August of, 2020, Sean Porter stated that he asked Terence Crawford, is a possibility that they're going to fight each other. And, Terence Crawford told him if his big plans fall through, then he'll revisit the possibility of fighting him. And then he asked, then that fell through, which saw Terence Crawford fight Kell Brook. And then now here we are, where today, 2021, where Bob Arum said it was a possibility that Terence Crawford could fight Manny Pacquiao in June 5th of 2021, and that fell through, and he still didn't revisit Sean Porter fight. So Bob Arum says that he was waiting for the Jose Ramirez Josh Taylor winner in the fall. So it looks like Josh Taylor, that got the unanimous decision victory over Jose Ramirez, dominated Jose Ramirez, and dropped him twice in the 6th and 7th round badly, and is now undisputed. It looks like that's the fight that's next for Terence Bud Crawford. It's a good fight. It's a big fight. It's a huge fight. The storyline is going to be big. The last 2 undisputed champions in junior welterweight, and on top of it, there's only a handful. There's only 7 or 6 undisputed, all four major sanction body holders in the history of the sport of boxing. So Josh Taylor now and Terence Crawford are 2 of those guys. So the storyline is going to be big. Josh Taylor is a big junior welterweight, so we can see this coming. Josh Taylor has a huge Ireland backing and the United Kingdom backing. So he has a huge following, huge fan base. Things are starting to open back up. So I can clearly see Terence Crawford, Josh Taylor being a big fight. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.